Jake and Logan Paul have hinted at a potential boxing match set for March, calling it the moment you've waited a decade for. The brothers, known for their YouTube fame and boxing ventures, might finally face off in a long-anticipated showdown. No further details have been released yet. Before we continue, make sure to leave a like on the video to help support the channel. The Global Fight League is catching some heat after their live draft turned out not to be live. Fans were upset, and founder Darren Owen had this to say about the draft and the league.
Teams went live early, about 5 minutes early than they should have, and they were still kind of testing and kind of going through some different things. So yeah, one of the graphics that got showed was, theoretically the draft board. I don't know ultimately if it was a bad thing, because based on that, like we were trending on X, the #1 topic in the United States that evening. We trended on Google over the weekend. So, was it a blessing in disguise that maybe, hey, this got leaked? It wasn't the plan, but it happened, and you just deal with it and move forward.
It did sort of suggest that the draft had already happened, or it was kind of predetermined. What is your response to that? Yeah,
absolutely. It was, there's a lot that went into that production of it. So the reality is I consulted with the coaches, the managers, who they wanted on their team, what made sense based on, we're stacking the deck, Ariel. Like, that's the reality of this thing. You said it, everyone said it. We all want to make sure we get the fights we want to see. So, due to the fact too, we also own and operate all of the teams ourselves. So, making trades, doing the logical thing to create the matchups that people want to see, we'll get creative with it. We did get the coaches. So like any of the fighters who are upset about, oh, why didn't you pick me, coach or manager? You can blame me. Ultimately, I kind of had final say. We did get all the feedback, and we had planned on going live picks 1 through 120. The duration that would have taken was significantly longer than I think anyone wanted to kind of tune in for. So we kind of accelerated things. But yeah, ultimately, we wanted to put the right fighters on the right teams to also create the logical matchups. And, ATT fighters wanted to be in Miami. Fighters based in California wanted to be on that team. And obviously, Sao Paulo is mostly Brazilians and South Americans. So, there was that aspect that came into it too. Let's let logic prevail on how these teams should kind of come to fruition. Also getting the feedback, but we need needle movers. We need fighters that have the biggest fan bases possible, and that was kind of more the determining factor, was which athletes are actually going to generate the most revenues for us, and and which fighters are going to be future global superstars, and also bringing in athletes from all around the world, so we have representation from some major countries around the world.
He also hinted at a potential matchup between Tony Ferguson and Dillon Danis, suggesting they're aiming to make the fights that people want to see.
We can make the fights that people want to see, and we're listening to everybody, right? Like, Tony Ferguson, Dillon Danis, that may be something that will come to fruition. So we're down to make the fights. Like, Eric, I'm a diehard MMA fan. Like, I love the sport more than anything. I've always kind of prided myself on making exciting matchups, but also making matchups that people actually want to see. So that's first and foremost what we're going to do is deliver the real fights that people want.
And you're thinking Dillon versus Ferguson? Not saying it's set in stone, but is that where you're leaning towards?
Well, I think that's what sounds like fans want to see the most.
Yeah.
So technically, Tony's in as a lightweight. I don't think he'll care if we say, hey, you're going to be a welterweight for maybe this fight or maybe the rest of the season. But yeah, like anybody who's on our roster can fight anybody else on our roster. So I think people are scared that, oh, if the schedules don't line up and, LA doesn't fight Sao Paulo at this time, then we're not going to see the fight. No, man, we'll figure it out. We'll make it all work. Like, there is an element of professional wrestling behind this, where yes, the fights are real, but we will stack the deck in our favor.
TJ Dillashaw thinks Cody Garbrandt could be Merab Dvalishvili's toughest test in the bantamweight division. He believes Garbrandt's speed and wrestling ability, once his confidence returns, make him a potential threat. He's like a cat on his feet, and he hits like a truck, Dillashaw said, emphasizing the importance of wrestling to defeating Dvalishvili.
And I'm sitting here telling you, like, I think he's going to win for a long time.
Yeah.
I think he'll probably have the most title defenses. Like, I look at the listing here. It's like,
look at who he's beat.
I know. I mean, and if you look at the rankings now, I don't see anyone like even the top 20 that's going to beat him right now, man. Like, I mean, he can be, right? He can get knocked out. Like, Sandhagen can hit him with a flying knee and finish him kind of thing, but most likely not.
You know? Who you think would be his toughest his toughest opponent?
I'd like to see Garbrandt fight him eventually. Once Garbrandt gets a couple wins back under his belt, like Garbrandt can wrestle, dude. Like I train with Garbrandt a lot. He's so fucking fast. He's like a cat on his feet. He's hard to take down. And as soon as he gets his confidence back, he hits like a truck. He's faster than I think he could do really good if he can get a run going and get believing in himself, and like he could be a threat. Because
I like that.
So you got to find someone that's got the wrestling, right? Because if like why Umar is such a threat is because Umar can wrestle. No matter what, to beat Merab, you gotta wrestle because you know he's gonna shoot. He's gonna shoot. He's gonna shoot. He's gonna shoot. And then you got to be able to outstrike him, which I wouldn't say like he's got good striking skills, but he's not like a striker, right? So that's why I say like someone like
Brian Ortega traveled across the U.S. to North Carolina to settle an online bet with a FORTNITE gamer who was trash-talking him. Ortega showed up at the gamer's workplace and delivered on his promise to choke him out in a lighthearted confrontation that didn't lead to any serious injuries. He shared on Instagram, "A bet's a bet."
People ask me, hey, play with me on Fortnite, play with me on Fortnite, cool, cool. Only problem is you guys be talking mad, you know what? So I had a homie, well, you know, my online homie, started talking mad smack. The real reason why I flew to North Carolina was because he was talking shit. We made a bet. I said, bro, I'll fly over there and choke you out. Here he is. I showed up to his damn job. Had to wait for him to finish his job. So now I'm gonna choke your ass out. Well, bet's a bet, dog. Bet's a bet?
Yeah.
You gonna go to sleep?
Yes.
Hell yeah. There we go. Put your hand up. Put your hand up. Put your hand up. That way I know when you go to sleep. You're out? He's out. Stay
Hey. Shit, man. I took a nap, man.
How do you feel?
I felt weird,
Sit
man.
back down before you ball.
No, I'm good.
How do you feel?
I'm good. Oh, fucking shit felt weird, man. And that shit was kind of fun, man.
Daniel Cormier acknowledges a civil relationship with John Jones, but says they wouldn't train together, noting Jones and I can be cordial. He contrasts his rivalry with Jones to Adesanya and Whitaker's, suggesting theirs wasn't as personal, allowing them to become friends.
Ours it's tempered, Jones and I. It's not what it used to be. I mean, we can honestly be in the same area with each other now and be cordial. It's not what it used to be. Before, we would just fight everywhere, whether we were in a bar, a club, no matter where we were trying to fight each other. And that was, I gotta be honest, that was fun, right? That was like really fun. But I don't need like that fuzzy feeling. Like, I don't hate that that Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield squashed their beef and they're like laughing and joking. But if Evander never forgave him for biting his ear off, I wouldn't have had a problem with it, because sometimes rivalry.
Chris Weidman decided to retire from UFC after a pivotal conversation about being placed on the prelims rather than the main card, which he found disrespectful. He felt it was a wake-up call when discussing his future with Dana White and hearing a champion like that being put on the prelims. This realization helped him make the tough decision to retire from the sport.
That's kind of the way I kind of was thinking I would do it. I would announce that I'm retiring and, you know, put down my gloves, and it would be pretty cool. But honestly, the UFC, you know, they're like, you know, Chris, we're going to put you on the prelims again. You know, we can't put you, you know, on main cards, and it kind of sucks to see, you know, a champion like that, you know, being put on prelims all the time. And like, what am I doing? You know, all these up and comers, guys who were in my position, like I was, you know, years and years ago coming up, they got to make, you know, new stars out of these guys. And, you know, these, you know, former champions like myself, you that are not doing great, losing fights. They're not going to have the, you go from, riches to rags basically inside the UFC, and it's a tough pill to swallow, but it's just business. And I think they feel bad with it, but it's just kind of the way business goes.
Dennis BUZUKJA has been temporarily suspended following an altercation with a fan at UFC 310. The incident occurred after Aljamain Sterling's fight, leading to an official investigation by the Athletic Commission. The commission voted on Tuesday to approve the extension of the suspension, pending a full disciplinary hearing at a later date. The suspension was initially issued on January 7th, and BUZUKJA remains suspended until the commission decides on a possible punishment.
I'll speak a little bit on it. Like, as we were walking in, I don't know if he had touched Merab as we were walking in, but somehow he got Merab's attention, and then Merab went and tapped his shoulder and just gave him the finger, and then the guy gave the finger back or whatever. He got all jumpy, and then as the fight finished, we're walking back on the other side. This fucking guy comes across the whole crowd, and then goes and like you see in the video, he grabs Merab's arm, and then says something to him, I guess in Russian or whatever he said, and Merab started going crazy, and then we got into a little physical altercation, but that was really it. So thankfully, hopefully no charges pressed. And we move on. But it's different. So I went and approached him, and I just put his hand down. I was trying to de-escalate and tell him yo, calm down, bro. Relax. Merab was going away. I just wanted to tell him just relax. Have some respect. And then he cracked me first. Actually, he caught me with a nice little left hook. And then it was just instinct to hit him back, and then security came in, but part of me is yo, should I just drop the bucket and just jump over and start swinging? Just go full fucking degenerate, but I'm glad it didn't happen that way.
That's all for today. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe for more MMA content. And if you missed yesterday's news, click the video on the screen to get caught up.